Hi there. Thanks for joining me this evening. This is Kathie with Craft with Kathie. How are you doing tonight? Why don't you drop a line? Let me know where you're watching from. I'd surely appreciate that. I'm coming at you from the suburbs of Chicago, where we have finally maybe just jumped right past spring and headed for summer, because we had a high like about 78 today. It's been a long time coming. Really kind of a frustrating spring, if you will. I'm going to actually do a little project tonight on a chalkboard. This is about a 10 by 10 square chalkboard, and it has a little jute hanger for the back. I might use that. I might actually use some kind of ribbon of sorts or whatever. And I want to do this quick little transfer that at first I was like not impressed by it, but then I said, you know what? The point is made. It says, whatever, I'm still fabulous. And for me personally, that's a hard thing for me to accept and to think about, because I never think about myself as being fabulous. But I think we all should, because we are. We're all unique. We all have our own different attributes, both good and bad. But what we have to realize is, as long as we're doing the best we can, heck, we are fabulous. So take joy in that and recognize it, accept it. And I'm going to put this on this little chalkboard so that I could hang it up and remind myself of that every single day. With all that said, all I need to do now is figure out what colors I want to use for this project. So let's get started. This is a brand new transfer. I'm going to take it out of its packaging and label it. If you have any questions along the way, just drop me a little line and I'll answer as best I can. And I'm going to use chalk paste to apply the words from this transfer to this chalkboard. And this is liquid chalk. It actually goes on liquid and dries hard. I think I'm going to use the gold for the fabulous. I'm really torn on what I want here. I have my favorite go-to seems to be my Marvelous, and I realize I'm running through that so quick because I really like it and I use it so often. But I think I'm going to skip that and maybe go with some teal for the whatever. No, I don't know. Do I want to use the sea foam? It's close to the teal. Oops. Maybe I'll just use the teal. And I want to use something different for the still. Suggestions, ideas? Or I could use the guava. I've got guava and Couture teal, but they're very, very close in color. Okay, for better or for worse, chalk paste is washable. If I don't like it, I can rinse it right off. I'm going to use the sea foam for the whatever I'm, the Couture coral for the still, and the gold for the word fabulous. I think that'll work, and I just want to check my paste, make sure everything is proper consistency before I get started. This paste is a little bit dry, so I'm going to add a little distilled water to it to thin it down and stir it up. You want your paste to be the consistency of yogurt or sour cream. I always use distilled water because if there were any impurities in my water, it could impact my chalk paste. Well, this needs a little teeny bit more water there, a little more of a spritz. Okay. I'm going my little tool bag here. I need some more stir sticks. It looks like I may be out of them in here. Well, how do you like that? Okay, let me grab a little bit out of my tub. I've got a little tub of water here with a bunch of things that I needed to wash up, and I haven't quite done yet, but I will do that right now. Okay, so this is my Couture teal. This actually got a little lumpy. The paste had dried around the corners or around the edges of the jar, and I scraped them off a little bit on the last project and really didn't mix it up enough. That'll thin out and they'll dissolve. It doesn't hurt it at all. Good idea when you're done with your chalk paste from a project, stir it up, put a little spritz of water on top before you seal it. That keeps it moist and it won't be dried out when you open it up next time for the next project. Now to my gold. One of these gold pastes I could not open the other day. This one is definitely a little dry. You can always tell what I use the most. Getting near the bottom of this jar. But I have another backup one, so I'm in good shape for that. Okay, let's see. So, any questions or comments there? I know it's kind of late on a Friday night. Tomorrow is the International Day of Light, May 16th. I'm, in case you don't know, in case we haven't met before, I'm a chalk couture designer. And Chalk Couture has partnered with an organization called Watts of Love. And Watts of Love supplies solar lights to families in need. Do you know that today there are more families living in dark than when Edison invented the light bulb? Watts of Love provides a solar powered light to families in need and replaces their use of kerosene for lighting. Kerosene is very expensive, quite often costing them 1/4 of their annual income. And it also is dangerous, especially with children. It's too easy for them to get burned or hurt from the kerosene. So by replacing the kerosene with a little solar light, it allows this family to save money for once, because they could save that income that they've been previously spending on kerosene. They have more hours of light in their day, so they could do some side work if they need or want to at night that they weren't able to before because they didn't have lighting. And eventually they could buy maybe farm animals or whatever and start lifting themselves out of poverty. Watts of Love not only supplies them with solar lighting, they also train them on how to save money and basically how to lift themselves out of the positions that they're in. So it's a really great organization. I'm peeling my transfer off of the backing. Transfers are sticky. Notice it's shiny and it's adhesive on the side. And the transfer is shiny on one side and dull on the other. It's dull on the side that I wrote the name of the transfer on. I just want to make sure when I put things back together that I put the shiny side of the backer to the shiny side of the transfer. And I'm going to lay this down on my fuzzing cloth. If you don't have a fuzzing cloth, you can use a towel. And what I'm going to do is deliberately apply lint to the back of this transfer, kind of like a stencil, but it's made out of vinyl and silkscreen. Vinyl is the teal, silkscreen is the clear, and it has an adhesive backing and it is reusable, generally 8 to 12 times with proper care, sometimes quite a bit more. So the idea is you want to deliberately apply lint to the back of the transfer so that it does not stick so snugly to your surface. And then when you're done cleaning it, you remove the lint and it basically refreshes the adhesive. Our transfers can be used on any non-porous surface, such as chalkboard. This is a double-sided chalkboard. Dry erase boards, wood, glass, galvanized metal, mirror, etc. When you're applying a transfer to mirror or glass or metal, you want to really fuzz quite a bit because the adhesive will stick very strongly, and the idea is you want it to stick strong enough to give you a nice flat surface when you're chalking, but you also want to be able to lift it up or peel it up without stretching or distorting the transfer. I have a little piece of the bottom of the transfer that was sticking out there, so let's see, I want to center this a little bit. That already looks pretty good. Smooth it down, make sure there are no air bubbles, especially within the silk screen. We don't want any air bubbles. I do have a little tiny air bubble here, but notice that it is actually on the vinyl, so I don't care about that, it's fine. I just don't want it anywhere where I'm going to be squeezing liquid chalk paste through the transfer. And I am going to apply my chalk paste with my little stir stick, and then use a squeegee to pull that chalk paste through the transfer onto the chalkboard. And you can see this goes quite quickly. We've got a little clump in there. Let me just get that out of the way. Back into the jar it goes. And then after I go through or cover the silk screen, I go back over it, removing any excess paste, putting it back in the jar, because a little of our paste goes a long way. And then I make sure that I don't have any lines or streaks. Or little clumpies on the transfer. Little line there, okay. So anyway, back to Watts of Love. So tomorrow is the International Day of Light, and in honor of that, Couture is having a chalkathon. And a lot of us designers are also participating in the chalkathon. And I will be going live tomorrow for an extended period of time on Facebook, where I will create projects, and when I'm done with the projects, I will auction them off during my live feed. And all the proceeds from the auction will go to Watts of Love. Actually, anybody who purchases anything will go to my site and basically buy like tickets or things of Watts of Love. There's ones for $10, $1, $50, whatever. And if they buy something for $25, they might buy two $10 Watts of Loves and a $5 to make the $25. And that will go straight to Watts of Love. The only thing they would pay to me is shipping for their product or project. And I'm supplying the materials or donating the materials and surfaces, etc. And the time and effort to do the projects from my part. So if you want, come join me for some fun, some games, a little bit of online creativity. I'm open to any ideas for projects for tomorrow. If there's something that you've seen me do in the past that you'd like me to do again, let me know. Or if you want to input what color you think something should be in, I'm happy to accommodate wherever I can. Now, I think I might have went a little bit off here and caught the top of my L in Fabulous. So I'm going to lift this up and take a peek, and if so, I will clean it off before I chalk the word Fabulous. Yes, I did, just a teeny bits. And actually I cleaned it up with my finger. Okay, that's fine. Let me lay the transfer back down. I have a little thread from the silk screen. Okay, so I think I'm fine with that. And let's see what the gold's gonna look like here. The gold shimmer isn't really glitter, it's more of a shimmery, and it has kind of a whipped consistency. It's a little bit different from our regular paste. We have shimmer paste in gold, silver, copper, and red right now. And the shimmers are always fun to work with. Now, for porous surfaces such as fabric, we have inks that can be used. If it can be heat set, we could apply it with the inks and heat set it to make it permanent. And I will definitely be working on some t-shirts tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to put this on a t-shirt. Was my big decision tonight. Do I want to do it tonight, or do I just want to wait and use it tomorrow? Well, what the heck, I might as well do both. It's reusable transfer. I could use it tonight, clean it, and put it on a t-shirt tomorrow. I missed a little bit there. The top of my U, there we go. Okay, I think that looks good. Nope, let me check my lighting here a little bit. Missed the tops of my letters. Okay. You can tell when I'm using a larger squeegee how much faster it does, how much faster it goes. As far as application and cleanup. And cover up my chalk paste jars here. And what did I say about spritz of water before I seal them? Oops. Actually, not a lot of special tools needed. You need your paste or your ink, a transfer surface, and once you start chalking, you start looking at any flat surface as a possibility for a surface to be used. When chalking, it's kind of funny. You look at things with new eyes. And if you're not a yard sale person before, you probably will be afterwards, or thrift stores or whatever. I'm always looking for an interesting surface to apply something to. So I'm going to lift this up. Oh, and I actually I was really light on this side. Let me bring it back down. My W from whatever is a little smeared. Let's see if I could fix it. If I can't fix it, I'll just redo it. Where did I put it? Here we go. Oops, that actually feels like it might have been a little bit too thin. Didn't feel thin when I put it down, but let's see if I could fix this some way. Okay, and I'm going to leave this off, the lid off, to let it dry a bit. I'm just not getting the coverage that I need. That looks a little bit better because oops. I think I might have left this on here a little bit too long. I'm going to go back over the letters here really quick and soften up that paste and see if I could salvage this. A little bit too much talking and not enough chalking. Really no harm, no foul. If it doesn't work, all I have to do is erase it and do it again. And generally, if something's going to take me a little bit longer to work on, I put a little bit thicker of a layer of paste. Don't scrape it off quite as thinly so that it does not dry in my transfer as I'm yakking. And I guess I should have done that here. Got a little too carried away with what I was talking about. Okay, and you have no idea what the coral is going to look like. We shall see. Well, interestingly, I don't know if I should count this as a total fail or not. The Fabulous was pretty good, but I think I probably smeared it. Decisions. Okay, let's do a repeat. But before, I'm going to cheat a little bit. Generally, I throw this in a water bath. I'm going to just spritz the back of it so that it's wet and it won't stick to my glass mat that way. Then I'm going to turn it over, wet the front. Usually I do this in a water bath, or you could actually run it under water in your sink. But if I'm over at the sink, I won't be on camera, so that's why I'm doing it here. And I'm going to get a Clorox wipe to clean it off. So look at this, we get a demo on how to clean the transfers. It's really pretty easy. Just get off all the chalk paste. Sometimes the paste will stain the transfer, which does not impact its usability at all, especially our deeper pigmented chalks, or our shimmers seem to leave a little bit of pigmentation on the transfer, but that's easily remedied. And actually it looks like the shimmer's doing that, so I'm going to show you how we get around that and how do we fix it. I still want to make sure the transfer is wet on the back. I don't want it sticking. Okay, I need to do a little bit more cleanup here, but I could demo how to get rid of the staining. This, it looks pretty grungy, but it's fine. Obviously I used it to clean black chalk paste. This is one of our board erasers, and it can be used to take any ghosting or remnants of chalk off of a chalkboard to remove that, but it is also great for removing the staining off of your transfer. This needs to be a little bit wetter. You know what, better yet, let me dunk it in my little water for my tools. So you can see the board eraser will remove the staining from the transfer. But like I said, it's just a matter of taste, whether it bothers you or not. The staining does not alter how the transfer functions. It's just same thing. It just discolors the vinyl a little bit, but it doesn't impact its usability whatsoever. So, wipe that up. Get all the chalk. Oops. Bad habit. I'm trying to hurry because this is going a little bit longer than I intended, and I apologize for that, being I garbled it up. Get all the chalk paste off of the front. Flip it over. You want to make sure if your transfers stick to each other, when you pull it apart, you very gently pull it apart. And then you clean the chalk paste off of the back. I'm doing well here, aren't I? So I'm going to clean up all the chalk paste. Try not to get my sleeve dragging in it. And then once I have the chalk paste off, I want to remove the lint. And I just gently rub across it, usually from the center to the outside, going one direction. And sometimes, depending upon how much fuzz or lint the fuzzing cloth that they have left on it, you could actually see a little pile of lint kind of roll up, or you could see it on the white. And then I go to the other side. And I'm going to show, here's a little pile of lint right here. I'm going to show you a little trick that I found out from someone that I think she stumbled onto accidentally, but it really is cool because it helps on getting your transfers to dry quicker so you can put them back on their backing. But not only does it do that, it actually makes the adhesive stronger. One of these great tips to get more than 12 uses out of the transfer. And you might say, well, why would I want to use a transfer more than once? Well, hey, I could put this on my chalkboard to remind myself every morning. I could put it on a t-shirt to wear and remind myself, or to give as a gift. I could combine different transfers with different logos or images or words to make up something custom as a gift for someone or for part of my own decor, whatever. Okay, here's the little trick to drying it. I'm going to put this transfer sticky side up on the micro side of my fuzzing cloth. One side is terry, and this is what's used to dry it, to fuzz it to make it not so sticky. And then I use the microfiber side to lay the transfer on to get the moisture off of the front. But if I cover it and gently press the microfiber side down on the adhesive, it seems like not only does it help dry it quicker, it makes the adhesive stickier than it was to begin with. So it rejuvenates the adhesive. Now I'm going to put this on the side and let it dry while I attend to the chalkboard. Ooh, it's already getting so sticky, it's sticking to my fingers. Okay, I've left the cover off on this because I want it to thicken up a little bit. I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir. Okay, I wanted to make sure I didn't have any gold on that. and mix this up a little bit more. And when I redo this, I'll be a little bit quicker. Another hint, if you're doing a project that does take a lot of time, you can do something that's called paste and peel, where you peel it up and then set the transfer down gently, and just it'll let a portion of the transfer dry, but it won't dry in the silk screen because you've already picked it up and lifted it away from the surface. Or you could put damp paper towels. Better trick. Let me show you this. This is so cool. This is our new tool. This is called our board scraper. And I'm going to wet this with my water. And then I'm going to use this scraper to peel off the paste. Look at how fast this comes off. Now this has left a little bit of ghosting or image here. So I'm going to come back with the board eraser and clean that up. Look at all these demos of things I wasn't intending on demoing tonight. I'm swiping it up with a paper towel. And I'm going to use my board eraser that I previously wet when I was working on the transfer to go around the board with a little bit of pressure, not really too much, and remove any ghosting. Let me grab another paper towel here and do a little bit of cleanup. Hey Deb, how you doing? You like those colors, huh? Oh, you like me to do the hot mess technique. You know what? This might be an idea. Maybe I should do the hot mess on this. How about another demo? I've got a little bit of chalk on the edges here that I could clean up actually later, but okay, Deb says she likes the hot mess technique where I use my fingers. So I think that's what I'll do. Dry this up so my board's not sliding around. Okay, hot mess it is. It's called a hot mess because it can be a little messy on your fingers. It's kind of like finger painting for adults is what I think of it like. Okay, this is almost, well, you know what? It's dry enough. It's sticking hard to my finger, so let me fuzz it on my fuzzing cloth, and I'll take a second stab at this. Oh yes, this really, really renewed the stickiness. Look at this. You always want to lift your transfers left to right or top to bottom. You never want to pull them by the corners, never diagonally, because your transfer is in essence like material, the vinyl and the silk screen, and like fabric, if you pull it on the bias it can stretch, so we don't want to do that. And I find with larger transfers or something really sticky like this, the best thing to do is put it down on your fuzzing towel, lift half of it, bring it back down, lift the other half. That way you're not running the risk of it sticking to itself. This is actually our B-size transfer. Our smallest are about a 5x7. This is like an 8.5 by 11 or so. And then they get larger. We have some really cool large designs. Cool small ones also. My goodness, boy, that little trick for making it sticky really has made it quite sticky. So let me fuzz a little bit more so that it's easier to pull it off of my chalkboard. How about one more time? You can feel as you're lifting it, you can hear it and you actually feel, let's do it one more again. you could feel the stickiness diminishing quite a bit. Okay. Take two. No, I want to move this a little bit over to the left. The lettering isn't quite straight there. I usually just eyeball it, but we have placement tape, and you could always measure if it if you have a difficult time lining things up. But it's chalk. It's erasable chalk. So if you make a mistake, no harm, no foul. Just do it again. Seriously, if you can butter toast, you can chalk. Very, very easy. Okay, so here's the hot mess technique. Open up all my pastes. And I do think the shimmer pastes are very pretty to be using with the hot mess. So let me get that gold out here. And my gold stick. So the hot mess is, you know, this just looks like it's a little too thick yet. Stir that up. The gold paste is interesting because it seems, not the gold paste, the shimmer pastes are interesting in general because it seems like I could add a little water and they really don't get loose like the other pastes. They're a little bit different because of the shimmer. They are a little bit thicker after adding water, so it seems like I add a little bit more than I would to a non-shimmer paste. Oops, I splatted some water out here, didn't I? Okay. So, probably not my wisest thing to be stirring up my paste over my transfer or my surface. So, I'm going to put a dollop of paste in different areas. Oops, that's a big dollop. A dollop of daisy. Oh, must be the sour cream on my mind that I'm thinking of. Oh my goodness. A dollop of daisy. Okay, so I've kind of put little splats or little dollops of the ocean mist, right? Ocean mist, I can't. Oh, sea foam. Why do I always mix those two up? And my Couture coral here. Kind of somewhat even disbursement. I might have a little bit too much coral here, but add a little bit of the sea foam in there. And now for the gold. And I actually like, when I do a hot mess with the shimmers, I like having a little bit more gold than the other colors. So just because I like the way it looks. So you just put little dabs around your surface. And then I usually spritz my fingers a little bit and make these little dabs a little bit larger before I squeegee them off. But I don't want my fingers too wet. Just a little bit. Let me move my ocean mist around here a little bit. And then my Couture coral in like widening circles, if you will, to cover a little bit more area before we start blending them, because blending them we will definitely do. And now for the gold. And I see my sleeve is starting to drag in things here. Okay, I think I've got them all kind of expanded a bit. Now I'm going to take the larger squeegee. Oh, I actually don't have to clean it. What the heck? I'm using a mixture of colors here and just go over it. Now I cannot return this to any container because it's a mixture of colors. So I'm going to wipe the excess off on my paper towel. And I want to make sure I get the chalk paste through all of the silk screen, and then smooth it out and remove any excess paste. Little messy, finger painting for adults. What do you think? So I went a little bit off the edge of the board there. Let me check it this way and get rid of all my lines. This is one of my favorite techniques. Thank you, Deb, for the suggestion. I appreciate it. And as you can tell, it goes fairly quickly. Okay. Make sure my fingers are as clean as possible. Actually, I'm going to lift from the other side. Because along the edge here, I have a little puddle of paste, so I stick my fingers right into it. Ta-da! Let me go set this aside. I've got a little bit chalked up fingers, but what do you think? I've got a little cleanup here. Whatever. I'm still fabulous. Woo-woo! Okay, so I want to clean that up a little bit. And I had in my little bag of goodies here, this cute little bag for tools. I have a little, like a cotton swab. One side's a paddle, one side's pointy. And I'm going to clean up where my W is blurred here. And I think I could do it fairly easily while it's still wet. Just smooth out what I kind of smeared a little bit. Use the little pointy part to get right into the W. I just dropped it on the floor, so let me get another one. Whispers. Couldn't think of the name of them. They're cool. So I'm going to come right up here and go right up in the middle of that W. Clean that up. I think that looks fine. See if I need to touch anything else up around here. It does have a somewhat distressed look. The transfer does itself, and it's still wet. Oh, it looks like I missed a little edge here. Let me fix my E. I blurted my E. So let me just clean that up. That's good. And then here. So because I actually probably didn't go all the way through, I'm just altering it while my chalk paste is wet. And we can't even tell that I made a mistake and didn't get it fully covered when I chalked it. So, what do you think? Am I still fabulous? Think about joining me tomorrow for the Chalkathon. It'll start at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's 11:45 p.m. right now, if you need to convert the time. And come visit for a little bit. We'll have some fun, play some games. You can see me create some more projects and auction off some projects that I'll be making tomorrow, and some projects that I have from some pretty previous lives and whatever. Thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it. Have a wonderful life.